Hello friends, we have already discussed act number 1 and 2 of the drama Abhijnana Shakuntala. Now let us discuss about act 3 and act 4 in this lecture. So we saw that act 2 ends with the dialogue between Dushyanta and his friend Vidushaka, and ultimately when there is a message sent to the king from the capital that he has to return for some ritual, king sends his friend Vidushaka to his home to perform the ritual instead of himself. So we had stopped there, and that is how king finds an excuse to remain in the ashram for a longer time. In act number 3, this love sickness between both of them continues, and then they unite, and now in this act the secret marriage between Dushyanta and Shakuntala takes place. Both of them confess their feelings for each other in front of each other. So this is what we see in this particular act. So in this act 3, the pursuit of Dushyanta to find Shakuntala continues. He longs to meet her and see her constantly. Even it is the same kind of response from her side. She is also love struck and she does not feel well. And her friends tell that it is because of love sickness which is troubling her, and they advise her to express the feelings in front of the king. Now in what way will she express her feelings to the friends, to Dushyanta? Her friends Anasuya and Priyamvada suggest that she should write a poem, love poem, and thereby tell her feelings, convey her feelings to King Dushyanta. So they are all these three friends talking to each other in the garden, and king silently is spying on them in the garden. He is also remaining in the same garden, so that he can be near Shakuntala and he can know her feelings truly. And when he is observing their talks, he is listening to their talks, and when he comes to know that Shakuntala also loves him equally, he comes out of his hiding place and comes in front of Shakuntala, which surprises her a lot. And then the union of these lovers take place. Both of them confess their feelings of love towards each other, and then her friends leave Shakuntala alone in the company of Dushyanta so they can talk and have some romantic moments together. So this is the important scene of the whole drama, because here the lovers are united and they both express their feelings to each other. And here there is one important thing that is happening. The marriage between Dushyanta and Shakuntala takes place. They both marry secretly in Gandharva Vivaha custom without involving the elders of the family. But this marriage episode is nowhere mentioned in the drama. There is nobody or no dialogue which tells that they are married now or they are getting married, but it is understood, it is implied. And we have to understand one thing here, that the whole story of the drama actually it consists of many days and many months, and this has been shortened into drama. So most important episodes are taken and some important episodes are taken for granted, or they are implied on their own. So Shakuntala and Dushyanta are now married. Shakuntala was a little afraid because she did not know how her father Kanva will react to this fact of her marriage, and that is why she was troubled a little. Further, when they are spending some time with each other, Gautami, a senior female ascetic from the ashram, comes and asks Shakuntala to come back to the ashram to perform some of her important duties, and there the lovers have to separate for some time. So Shakuntala has to take leave of Dushyanta now, and even Dushyanta has got his duties in the capital to attend. So both of them have confessed their feelings, have married secretly, have fallen in love, and now it is time to separate because there is another important thing in life that is calling them, and that is their duty. What is Shakuntala's duty? In the absence of Kanva Rishi, being his foster child, being his foster daughter, she has to take care of the works in the ashram, and she has more responsibilities in his absence. If some guests come, she has to take care or give some hospitable treatment to the guests. And on the other side, Dushyanta's duty does not end there in the garden, because he has more responsibilities to take over in his capital city. So this call of duty separates these lovers for an indefinite period. So both of them are reluctant to go, but they have to go. So the pain of separation, even though it is for some time, but this pain is felt by both Dushyanta and Shakuntala. Both are not ready to leave each other's company. And this is what we see in act number 3, which is filled with love sickness, union of lovers, and then separation for indefinite time due to the call of duty. So here in this act, we can see the constant struggle between love and duty, or dharma and kama. On one side, there is dharma which they have to do no matter what comes in their way, and on the other side, it is this kama, or this desire of being with each other, is also pulling them away from the duty. But ultimately, they have their duties to perform, and that is how they separate for the time being. So this act is important. So it leads to it comes near to the climax and the further situations of difficulty in act number 4 and 5, which are to continue from here. Now we will come to act number 4. Before that, most important characters in act 3 are none other than Shakuntala and Dushyanta themselves, and then we also find Anasuya and Priyamvada, the friends of Shakuntala, who are telling her different ways to approach the king. And ultimately, Gautami also is an important character who reminds Shakuntala of her duties in the ashram. Now let us come to act number 4 and understand what is happening in act number 4. There is an important quotation here. This quotation is about the importance of this particular act in this drama. Kavyeshu natakam ramyam tatrapi cha Shakuntala tatrapi cha chaturtho ankaha tatra shlokas chatushtayam. Meaning, Kavyeshu natakam ramyam. In Sanskrit aesthetics, in Sanskrit tradition, nataka or drama is considered as a form of poetry. So what this shloka says, in all the different forms of poetry, nataka or drama is the most beautiful one. It is the most entertaining one. Tatra picha Shakuntala. In all those dramas, even this play is considered as the greatest. In this play Shakuntala or Abhijnana Shakuntala, Tatrapi cha chaturtho ankaha. Act number 4 is very important, and in act number 4, Tatra shlokas chatushtayam. The 4th shloka is important. In what aspects it is important? So, this act is more about responsibilities in one's life. So what is happening in act number 4? If we fail to perform our certain duty that is assigned to us, we may end up in getting some trouble. So that is what is the message of this act. In this act, now already they have been separated from each other. The king has gone to Hastinapur and he has promised that he will come back to take Shakuntala back to his kingdom. But a long time has passed and Dushyanta has not come back to take Shakuntala to his court. Now Shakuntala is in tension, she is in grief, she is lovesick, she is all the time thinking of Dushyanta, and Priyamvada, Anasuya are in the company of Shakuntala. They are trying to give her hope, they are trying to tell her that Dushyanta will come someday to take her back to the kingdom, but Shakuntala is lovesick and she has lost the charm on her face. She is all the time longing for Dushyanta, she is thinking of him, and she is almost oblivious of her duties in the ashram. Kanvarushi has not yet arrived, and Shakuntala is lost in the thoughts of Dushyanta. Now, in this time, what happens is the Rishi, known for his anger, Durvasa, comes and he asks for Kanvarshi. He is not there. Then it was actually the responsibility of Shakuntala to treat him with hospitality, but unfortunately she is lost in the thoughts of Dushyanta, so she fails to treat Durvasa properly. She is not even aware that Durvasa came and went. But the other characters, her friends Anasuya and Priyamvada, have seen Durvasa coming to the ashram and going back in anger. She has also heard that Durvasa has given curse to Shakuntala, saying that the king or the person about whom she is thinking, forgetting all her duties, will forget her. Priyamvada, who is worried about the fate of Shakuntala, begs pardon for Shakuntala's mistake, but Durvasa says curse once told cannot be taken back, but there can be a solution to this problem. So he says, if Shakuntala gives some signet of love which was given to her by the king may remember Shakuntala. So this is a kind of solution to the problem which was caused by the curse. But until then, Dushyanta would forget totally about Shakuntala. So this was the curse given by Durvasa to Shakuntala, and she was unaware of it. In the original story, this is not there. In the original story, she is aware that Durvasa has cursed her. But here, she is not yet aware of this curse. Why has Kalidasa made this twist? It may be to show the intensity of love. She was so intensely in love with Dushyanta that she forgot everything around her, and all the time she was thinking about him. In fact, in the original story, it is not like that. She has seen Durvasa come, but she was in some other mood, but she could not, and that is why she could not treat him properly. And she hears Durvasa giving her a curse, and she goes and begs pardon to Durvasa. But in the drama, it is shown that Priyamvada begs pardon on behalf of Shakuntala, and Shakuntala is totally oblivious of all these things. So her obliviousness shows how intense was this feeling of love, how much lovesick was Shakuntala in the thoughts of Dushyanta. So to give more intensity to the romance, we have this mood called Shrungara Rasa, which is the emotion of love or romance. In Shrungara Rasa, there is one type called Viraha. The separation which has been the cause of grief is so intense that she has forgotten everything about the hospitality to be given to the guests. So to show this Viraha Shrungara, he has added this episode wherein she is totally shown as a completely oblivious girl. Now, so after this episode is over, in between, we also come to know that Shakuntala is pregnant with Dushyanta's child, and in the meantime, Kanva comes to the ashram after several days. And Kanva, when he comes back, he knows all these situations. He comes to know all these situations with his divine powers which are given to him as a gift by God because of his penance. He has some supernatural powers to know what has happened. So the moment he comes to the ashram, he comes to know everything about the secret marriage between Dushyanta and Shakuntala. And Shakuntala was a little doubtful of the reaction of Kanva, but Kanva, in fact, is very happy that Shakuntala has married a noble man like Dushyanta, and he feels extremely elated. Now, it is in the dialogues between Kanva and his foster daughter Shakuntala that we come across this fourth shloka, which I mentioned in the quotation few minutes back. So there are beautiful dialogues between Kanva, Shakuntala, and some other senior ascetic like Gautami. So what are they telling her? So they are giving her advice about the duties and responsibilities of a housewife, how she has to behave in the kingdom, how she has to behave as a queen to the king Dushyanta, how she will be called as an ideal woman. So all these principles and responsibilities all are advised by Kanva and Gautami to Shakuntala before she goes to meet her husband king. So these are told to Shakuntala in this fourth shloka. That is why this act is important, because it gives a message about human life. It gives a message of how we should conduct ourselves. It is a message about responsibilities in one's life. That is why this act is considered as very important act in the play. So Kanva is now ready to send away his daughter Shakuntala back to her husband, to whom she now belongs. And all the sages in the hermitage are arranging for her departure. And there are a lot of beautiful scenes, emotional scenes in between the dialogues, emotional scenes which are described through the dialogues of Priyamvada, Anasuya and Shakuntala. The moment when she is about to leave the ashram, how she is feeling the pain of leaving her native place to go to husband's place. So which is a common pain to all the girls who go to husband's house after marriage. So those emotions are described very beautifully through the dialogues of Shakuntala, how she is attached to all these things and how she has to now go to her own house to be an ideal wife to her husband. And then there are also beautiful descriptions once again of the nature, the garden. And here Shakuntala feels extremely painful to leave this garden which she loved at most, and all the animals she had taken care of, all the trees she had tended to, all of these things come to her memory, and she cries a lot before going to the kingdom of Dushyanta to meet her husband. And a group of sages is called for in order to help Shakuntala reach king's place. Kanva orders for her safe departure, and she has to travel to this capital of Dushyanta, and she has to travel in a boat. So there are a lot of assistants and companions to Shakuntala when she is on her journey to her husband's place. Even the emotions of Kanva Rishi while seeing off his daughter are explained very beautifully by Kalidasa in this act. So in this act we see a lot of depth about human emotions, human relations, the relationship between father and his daughter, the relationship between friends, the relationship between a young girl like Shakuntala and the garden, which was not just a simple garden for her, but which was a pure emotion of love and romance for her throughout her life. She had loved all those animals, she had loved all those trees, which she had grown with a lot of efforts. So all these emotions are combined in this act. That is why this becomes the most beautiful and most important act of the play Abhijnana Shakuntala. So in this act we see that the action is moving to the peak Although the story is not moving to the peak here, but the action, the level of human emotions that are presented here reach to the maximum level, this being the central act of the drama. So that is all about the things that are happening in act number 4. In the next lecture, we will discuss in depth about act number 5, its plot and the other aspects. Thank you so much.